All right, what's going on, guys? Frank Mansfield from the Moultrie News. I'm hanging out with Scott McInnes today at Beckham High School. Scott's the new AD over here. We're going to have a little fun today, talk Bengal athletics, all kinds of things, coaching hires. We'll introduce a couple coaches, facilities, junior varsity, varsity. We got a whole bunch of stuff going on. First, we should thank our sponsor, C&C Myers Heating and Cooling. Check them out for all your heating and cooling needs. They service my unit at the house. They do a great job, local, loyal, everything you could want. So definitely appreciate their investment in the community and the schools and helping us out with this today. But Scott, man, welcome. I don't know if...
well, I should tell you welcome, because welcome to our gym. We're super excited about the school. Is it crazy how nice it is? I mean...
Beautiful.
So, you know, can't thank CCSD enough for just getting us in here. The facility is top notch. Both gyms are great. You know, this is probably the only gym around in Mount Pleasant you've never scored a basket.
I don't know about that. At least
you have not made a shot in this.
I haven't. You know what? Better. I haven't missed a shot yet. So I think I got a better track record of missing shots in this area, throwing up a few bricks, and I'm sure I'll get a couple up before too long in here.
No doubt.
But maybe before I leave today, I don't know.
I'm a good rebounder. Give
the people the rundown, though, man. Yeah. You're relatively new in town. Been here for a couple months. You've been in coaching for almost 20 years now. For those that don't know, Scott has almost 500 wins as a basketball coach up in North Carolina. I imagine, though, in everything you've been doing and all the coaching you've been doing, you probably haven't had a couple months like you've had in this first go with Lucy Beckham. What's it been like for you as an athletic director, trying to put this all together amidst this sort of health crisis we got going on?
It's basically been locking me up. I feel I'm an extrovert, and so you might as well be locking me up and tying me into the house. I mean, so it's been great to spend great family time with the family. I know you've got a young one at the house. We've been talking, so that part's been great. But the thing is not being able to meet the coaches. I mean, one of the coaches we have today, Coach Elliot, first blind hire I've ever done in 30 years of doing this. So, you know, we're excited to bring her in. But it was hard, man. I mean, we talked on the phone. I mean, for hours and hours, and you know, it was just one of those things. I knew she was the right person. We had to move forward. But it's hard not meeting people. So lately, it's lightened up, and so I've been able to meet somebody for lunch or meet them over here at the stadium. And just kind of walk and talk, because you can just get so much, you know, face to face.
A lot of Zoom meetings, a lot of phone calls, a lot of that whole spiel. I think that's how everyone's operating
Zoom
now.
World, yes.
Yeah. Well, tell me. So I feel like each school athletic department kind of has their own personality, or at least the culture that they want to have. Like, what are you trying to build over here at Lucy Beckham? Like, what would you want your athletic department to sort of reflect?
Yeah. Well, I think the neat thing is being able to start from ground up. You know, all our coaches have really, you know, bought into what we're trying to do as far as unity. You know, and one of the questions that we even got online was just part of the Beckham One Foundation. You know, we want to be one. I look at this as my kid plays every sport here. My kid is in the arts and dance and chorus. So those kids over there at band, they're my kids too. And so we're a part of the One Foundation. That's Anna Dassing, the principal. That was one thing she wanted, was unity, unity, unity. I love that. I mean, I want to be one family. So, you know, the band director, Colt, him and I talked this week just about just having unity and being able to share. You know, how cool would that be if your starting linebacker at halftime is playing the pep band? I mean, you know, and he, you know, he shared that as well. So, you know, if we can work that out with practices and all that stuff, I know it takes a lot of moving pieces, but be able to share athletes as well. With us only having 750 kids, I mean, we're going to have to share athletes. So, you know, that's one thing, common theme that I've heard from a lot of the coaches, which is great, that we're going to share and kind of be together and let these student athletes play as many sports as possible.
Yeah, that's a good point too. That was one of the questions that we got from some of our readers. If you guys have any more questions, definitely leave them in the comments. We'll try to answer those. But that was a good point. So just the idea that you guys are a little bit different in that you've combined the athletics, the academics, the extracurriculars into under one umbrella as far as the booster club and things like that are concerned. How important is that sort of continuity when you are building a new program like this and a new school just in general, to be able to have everyone sort of on the same page in these different facets?
Yeah. Well, I mean, for me, it's fun because, you know, from my previous school, like the course director and I mean, I was at his wedding. I mean, so, you know, that part of me is, you know, that side of me is fun because we get to focus on the unity and we're going to be one, you know, together in one family. So really appreciative of what the principal, Anna Dassing, set up, you know, for that umbrella, and that's something that she's really been pushing. So even our booster club will be under Beckham One, and everything will be kind of under that one foundation umbrella. So we're excited about that going forward.
Very cool. So we do have a couple questions from the readers. John wants to know, when do we start? I know it's a simple question, probably
question,
kind of a complicated answer though.
Question.
When do we start?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When can we get going? When can you guys really hit the ground running? I know you've been doing a ton sort of behind the scenes, getting things set up, but the kids kind of want to know, like, when can we get this thing rolling a little bit?
No doubt. Well, the governor continues to release, more and more things out, even here in the last couple of days. So as that grows, then we would wait on the South Carolina High School League to make a decision on some stuff. The National Federation of High School Athletics is kind of come out and they kind of locked everybody up with their report here this past week. So we're just kind of hoping that as this kind of, South Carolina continues to take steps through phases and open the doors up, our coaches are dying. So John, the coaches are in. We want to start doing some workouts. We want to have some open gyms. Hopefully you'll come to one of the open gyms and see what you can do. But, so we're excited about that, but we can't go until we get the official go-ahead that it's going to be safe. I mean, obviously safety is super important, and we want all the athletes to feel safe.
Absolutely. All right, got another one from Tom. He wants to know what teams are you offering this year? When you open a new school, some do varsity to get started with, some do JV for a couple of years. What do you guys kind of got going on? What teams are you going to be offering initially, and how many of those are going to be JV right off the bat? How many are going to be varsity? What are you working with?
Right. Great question. Majority of the sports we're going to do varsity. Okay. So we'll start out at varsity. It was Tom who asked that. So majority of the sports for the first year we're going to have varsity. If we have enough interest, then we'll try to add on a JV team at time if we have a coach. It'll depend a lot. I think one thing though with football though, one question that continues to come up is with football we're going to be JV this year.
Yeah.
We'll have JV only, but the rest of the sports we're going to push on and try to have varsity, and then occasionally, like we've already had 80 girls interested in playing volleyball. We're looking at, hey, can we try to find an extra JV coach here and trying to add that stuff in?
Yes. One of our viewers just asked, what's the deal with the baseball team?
Good question. I know there's been a lot of interest in that. The baseball facilities.
Yeah,
go ahead, take it away, man.
Thanks for.
There has been a lot of interest in the baseball team, the facilities, and that's what we're doing today. I'm so glad that we were able to kind of get
who asked that one?
You got the name?
Oh, no name. Okay. Well, anyways, I've been fielding a lot of those questions, and so I appreciate it. I've only been here 2 months, and so yes, we do need a baseball stadium. Exactly. We've talked to some folks from Parks and Rec. We're hoping to get the old field across, and share that with Parks and Rec right across the way here.
The old Wando Stadium.
Yeah, the old Wando.
Yeah, very cool. Nice facility. Yeah.
Yep. So that's a possibility, but really that's kind of above me. That's I'm trying to just work with whatever they give us. We definitely need a stadium. We have a head baseball coach, Tim Lau. He's got a ton of baseball experience, and we're glad to bring him in as a teacher and a coach over here as well. But great question.
I guess the idea is talk to the town. If you want to see these guys on the diamond, we'll see kind of what the town can help with, whatever partnership might be, and we'll kind of see what's available at least in these initial years, right?
And I think I speak for the whole administration. I mean, we want to share. So when I say that, I mean this is a great facility. This is not it's not my gym. We want to share as much as we can, and so hopefully we'll have a good relationship with the powers that be as far as sharing a baseball field, and if they need to come on over here and we need to share some space, some field space here with Parks and Rec, we're open to it. So love to continue some conversations as we dig deeper into baseball. So great question.
Let's continue with
and we will have baseball. That was a couple questions.
We will have baseball.
Definitely will have baseball. Hired a coach.
That's
and
important.
We've got a bunch of interest in it. So yes, we will have varsity baseball this year.
So stay with facilities though. We were checking out the stadium back there a little bit. People will be familiar with that area. That's where Wando Stadium used to be. It's been totally renovated. They're redoing that area over there. But what are the facilities? Like, what is the sort of situation? I believe you guys are going to be sharing the district stadium over at Wando, right? But what are you going to be having at that stadium out there? Obviously, we're in the basketball gym today. Beautiful facility in here. Talk a little bit about where your teams are going to be playing so people know.
Yeah, that's a great question. So we do share CCSD, the stadium on Wando's campus. So that is a joint use, 50-50 joint use situation. But from talking with a lot of coaches would like to try to play here, especially the first year. So we might go over there for a JV game, a JV football game or two, but we'll probably play a majority of the fall stuff out here in the stadium. We've got practice fields as you come in, the first 2 huge practice fields out there, full size, really good size practice fields that have been up and they're in really good shape. So we'll have 3 different places for where the athletes can train here on campus, and then the spring gets really tough with all the spring sports. We'll probably be over there at CCSD Stadium sharing that field a little more in the spring.
So you've been busy, man, making all these hires, having to fill these positions, and I think we looked at the list a little bit. Some of the names I think people are going to recognize. Who are a couple names that you think people are going to recognize that you're bringing in as coaches?
Yeah, I know. We talked about our soccer coach, CJ Razi,
former Wando coach, who people know pretty well, had a lot of success over there.
Ton of success over at Wando. So he's taking a little break. He's taking a little break. Still did club soccer, and then has come back on, and he's got over 20 years experience. I've been surprised how much experience. Same thing with I was talking about baseball, how much experience. We're about to meet a couple coaches that have a ton of experience too. So it's been great to see how much they the 2 things we really look for is do you love the sport and do you love working with kids? I mean, we weren't going to bring anybody who wasn't interested in it's about the student athletes. Yeah. So we got to put them first.
I thought CJ was an awesome hire as a guy that's been in this community. He knows the soccer in this community as well as anyone, connected, and somebody that people are comfortable with, they're familiar with, a proven winner. Who are some other guys or ladies that they might recognize? Obviously, soccer's big in this area. Lacrosse is big as well. How about lacrosse?
Yeah. So lacrosse, on the women's side, Coach Brooke Black
from Wando.
Join us. And
who's had a lot of success, been to state championships, always deep in the playoffs.
Yeah. So she'll come over, she'll teach and coach. If we could get someone that was interested in teaching, that's always good to kind of see be here in the hallways. So Brooke, and then also we brought in a former Wando assistant on the men's side, Parker.
Farragon.
Yeah, I know you met him. You guys. Little Syracuse connection.
Around the lacrosse. Can't help but love the lacrosse up there. So he'll do a great job. That's another name that people will probably notice in the Low Country, certainly in the youth and the club scene.
Yeah, and a great thing about him is he's a counselor here on campus. And I've been so impressed. I mean, he's young, but I mean, I can already tell you. I mean, he's going to be first class all the way. So we're excited about where was going with those 2. Wrestling coach we brought over. He's a elementary school principal in the area. Eric Hansen has got a ton, like 11 years experience being a wrestling guy and doing a couple of all-state teams. So it's been good to just get a bunch of coaches with a ton of experience. And then we've got some younger ones with not much experience, and we'll help those along the way too.
See if we can make that work.
No doubt.
One of the things before I forget is sort of the interest. What was the interest like when you started putting out these jobs? I mean, what kind of interest were you guys bringing in? I know you had a lot of experience, a lot of different coaches from different areas. Just talk about the interest that people had in being a part of Beckham.
I mean, it was crazy to see how many resumes. I mean, I know we've talked with football. I mean, I was just blown away with just how many resumes we had. Same thing, men's basketball, a ton of resumes. So, I mean, it was mind-boggling just to go through the resumes and trying to shift through what's the best fit for our area and what direction are we going here at Lucy Beckham that would be the best fit, So you might have some great coaches, but they might be the best fit for the direction we got. You got another question?
Certainly. We have, our first question is about the football team as far as JV and varsity. Will there also possibly be a C team involved?
Yes. And we're going to bring in a head football coach to answer some of that stuff. He might actually makes me go through workouts a couple times a week. But yeah, we will have a C team. That's the plan. Yes, we'll have a C team, and we will be, we're looking at it as we'll be JV, so it'll be a JV team and a C team, and our JV for us around here is going to be our varsity. So we're looking at, it's going to be quote JV, but we're going to be here in the stadium, and we're going to make a big deal about it on a Saturday or on a Thursday when we set up the games.
That's a good point too. So they're going to play 2 years or at least 1 year of JV football. So you're getting these kids much younger. You're going to have more time to work with them. Jamel Smith, the head football coach is over here, is going to have more time to sort of mold these kids from a younger age, and the C team and stuff like that is a great idea too, because you get some of these kids in earlier. I know you guys want to have connections with the local middle schools that are your feeder schools. So you get your hands on these kids kids earlier. Wando started their C team a year ago, had a lot of success, had great numbers come out. So I think it's a really good sign for football in our area that you get these younger kids who want to be involved with the high school, and it only helps you guys by the time they get to you.
Yeah. So we're appreciative of Coach Hayes and Bob Olson, the county AD, of wanting to bring the C team in. And I know as soon as we hired Coach Smith, that was one of the things he's like, man, we got to have a C team, got to have a C team. I was like, okay, we're having a C team.